So if you haven't heard, pickleball's a big deal. All right?
Right? You got it.
We've heard, and we have a passionate group of people standing behind me today who have a couple of things that are important to them. They are active, they are vibrant people, they are athletes regardless of their age, and they want to participate in a sport that allows them to do all of those things. And pickleball is one of those sports. And I didn't know a lot about pickleball when I first got elected. But actually, the short story, personal story, my old decathlon coach, John Whitson. I don't see John here today, but John's a pickleball aficionado as well. And this guy was an Olympic quality athlete. And that's just kind of speaks to the fact that this is a wonderful game. It keeps us active, it builds community, it builds relationships. It's a social activity as well as an athletic activity. And so when the community stepped up and said that we want pickleball, we want more of it, we had a particular counselor, Don Harris. Counselor Gibson is with us today as well. And Gary Opedal, who's my economic development director, and of course our administration said, okay, we're listening. We understand that you want this activity. Let's do this thing right. You couple that with the idea that sports tourism really matters and it really is an opportunity for our city. And pickleball fits in nicely with that. When we were pitching the National Senior Games last year that we landed for Albuquerque, and it'll be the first year of our next mayor's first term when we'll have thousands and thousands of athletes come here. Pickleball was on the agenda, and the fact that our city is willing to make these kinds of investments will bring those dollars in, and those are net new dollars to our community. Those are people coming into our city who have disposable income, and they will leave it here before they go home, and it will help our shops, it'll help our restaurants, and it'll help our community. So it really makes sense from a lot of standpoints, from a health, wellness, and an economic development standpoint. I'm going to turn it back to Councilor here in just a minute, but I want to thank a couple of folks. I want to thank Barbara Taylor. I didn't see Barbara. I see Keith. And oh, there you are. I'm sorry, I didn't have my sunglasses on. We've got folks here from our Parks and Rec department. Thank you so much. David Flores will be our project manager on this project. Brian Verardo is our principal landscape architect with Morrow, Reardon, Wilkinson, Miller. Thank you so much. Robert Cohen Company is our contractor. I saw some hard hats back here. Congratulations, that's jobs that are being created in our community. And certainly to our two counselors today, Don Harris and Diane Gibson, and all of our city councilors who have consistently been willing to make investments during my time as mayor. And we're coming up on our last year here. We're going to have a very robust year of building things in the city of Albuquerque that will improve quality of life, public safety, transportation, recreation, and this wouldn't be happening if you didn't have city councilors willing to make investments. So I'm proud to work with you. I'm proud of our community. I'm proud of the folks that advocated. Thanks for what you do. We wouldn't be here without each and every one of you, so thanks so much.
And I'd like to start by thanking a few other folks here. I think the mayor thanked a lot of the folks I was going to thank, but I don't know, did David Flores is the project manager? We already thanked Barbara Taylor. Melissa Lozoya is the director of DMD. They're the folks who build everything in our city, as well as Keith Reed. He's the director of DMD, also who's worked on this project. George Armijo Brasher is our director of senior affairs, who's been very helpful. And where are you, Georgia?
Georgia's right here.
Okay. Oh, there you are. Hi, Georgia. And one thing I think I'd like to just segue a little bit and talk about the things that we build in the city of Albuquerque. You know, sometimes we take a while to build them, but we usually build them really well. And if you look behind us, Georgia Armijo Brasher is the head of the Senior Affairs Department. And if you look at that community center back there, it's actually a senior center or a multi-generational center. It's just so used by the city of Albuquerque because it's such a great facility. And this is going to be a great facility also. What we've been doing with the contractors and the construction workers, we've been allowing them to use the facilities when they've had to do what they've had to do and they've been working all day. And we've just been very kind to them, and it's just really been a great community effort. Also like to thank Brian Verardo, who's a principal landscape architect, as well as Will Moses, who's a manager from MRWM, Michael Pierria, who's a construction superintendent with Robert Cohen and Company, as well as Robert Cohen, who's here, and I also want to thank Larry Light, Bob Ashmore, and the pickleball community. You know, sometimes there's a saying, many coaches have said that sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And I kind of feel that way about this because I was with the staff and city council, and some people came to us about pickleball, and I was not all that familiar with it. Then I studied it. I was like, holy cow, there's like this wave coming. And we just happened to kind of get lucky and see the wave in time. And we were able to work together with Councilor Gibson and the other city councilors. We were able to put funding together. And from the time this idea came to us to getting this built is going to be about 2 years. And I'd have to tell you, working in government, that's lightning speed. So we're really happy with what we're doing here, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about pickleball and all the benefits of it, because we have two people from the association who are going to speak. We have Gary Oppedahl who's going to talk about the economic developments. So without further ado, what I'd like to do is now turn it over to my fellow city councilor, who's also a big pickleball supporter, who's right next door, geographically, District 7, Councilor Diane Gibson.
Thank you, Councilor Harris. I'm very pleased and proud to be here and participate in this recognition of the sport and the effort that Councilor Harris and the city has put in order to make this happen. I first became aware of pickleball, and I remember the first time I said, "What? Pickleball? What is pickleball?" Some time ago, I guess it was a year or two ago, I first met with Larry Light and later on Bob Ashmore and some of the other pickleballers. And what really struck me was not only their passion, but their excitement about pickleball and the whole social realm around it. It was contagious. So we looked also in District 7 and couldn't really find a good match, but this is just the perfect place for it to be. So I just felt like I had to be here so that I can congratulate everyone, Councilor Harris, the Mayor Barry, and all of the pickleballers behind us, and to wish you best wishes from the far hinterlands of District 7. Thank you so much.
Hey, Art will get you there,
Thank you, Councilor. Next, I'd like to introduce Gary Oppedahl, who's Director of Economic Development with the City of Albuquerque.
Well, this is a big deal. I mean, what you see behind us here represents so many good things that just represent Albuquerque. What I love about Albuquerque is it's easy to become a local here. We're very social, we're very welcoming, and pickleball is one of those sports. Tennis, you got to go find, one other person if you're good and will have a lot of energy, or three other people if you want to play doubles, and you got to go get a court. Here in pickleball, you just show up. A bunch of people come, you play quick, short games. Those of you who don't know the game, there's a paddle and a ball right over there, and you play it on a court that's about the half the size of a tennis court. But the main thing is you show up 20, 30 people, and you get into teams of two, people you may or may not have ever met. You play a game, and then you move on, and you play another game, and you get to know a lot of people. And it really represents, to me, Albuquerque, because I love the way people just socialize so well. Right here on Saturday morning, you could come in the current Multigenerational Center and just show up, and you will be welcomed in. Someone will lend you a paddle, and you can start playing. And that's what happened to me. I started playing right here. And so I have a big passion for this because I think it represents who we are here in Albuquerque so well. And as with respect to sports tourism, there's a lot of people who travel and play pickleball. And we'll have lighted courts for evening play here. And as Mayor talked about with the Senior Olympics coming, we also have the State Senior Olympics that'll start here next summer and play here. So this is a big day for Albuquerque with respect to outdoors, recreation, social, and being friendly to people. So I think this is a great testament to who we are in Albuquerque. Thanks.
And thank you, Mr. Oppedahl, and also Barbara Taylor came, who's head of our, Parks Department now. Thanks, Barbara. She's also been a big help. And this is really what we like to do in Albuquerque, is play to our strength. And one of our strengths we have here today, which is that 300 days of sunshine. So we're really going to make the most of it with these pickleball courts. And next I'd like to introduce Bob Ashmore, who's the president of the Albuquerque Pickleball Club.
Thanks, Councilor and Mayor. On behalf of the pickleball community, we really want to thank the City of Albuquerque, the Mayor, the Council, and City Parks, and all of the city staff in supporting pickleball here in New Mexico. We have in the pickleball club today over 450 people playing pickleball around the city. We use 13 different indoor venues during the school year, and during the summer we have 4 or 5 outdoor venues that we go and play. And so we do get people from all over the city and all over the state to come in and play here. At the New Mexico Games Pickleball, we had this last month or 2 months ago, we had 100 people from all over the Southwest come into Albuquerque to play pickleball. We gave them coupons for a lot of the local restaurants and hotels to make sure that they visited and spent some of that money that we talked about here in Albuquerque. But again, we have a number of people here in town. We range from probably around 10 years old to 93 years old playing pickleball, and so it really is a sport for all ages. We have a few of our players that are actually working with kids in after-school programs, and at Mission Elementary there's 2 of the players that actually work with kids and have tournaments twice a year with kids that are just learning the sport for the first time. And so we have a growing population of pickleball players. We really welcome the permanent courts that we're going to have, and it's a great thing for the sport of pickleball. And again, it's all over the United States now and even all over the world. Some of the people here have traveled across the globe to play pickleball and have demonstrations on what the sport is. And there's people in England, the Dominican Republic, and Japan, all over Europe and other places that are playing pickleball. And so we're happy to be playing. We're really terrifically happy to get the courts, and look forward to playing here in the spring. And so I won't say much more other than thank you very much to the City of Albuquerque for our support. We also get good support from the county, Bernalillo County. We play at a number of their facilities as well. And it's good for the population, it's good for the facilities showing the use, and so we really appreciate the support, and we enjoy the sport, and so that's what we do. Thank you.
And any project like this doesn't get done unless there's been a lot of support and a lot of involvement by the community. And the next person, Larry Light, I'm going to introduce, and I have to say that he really was persistent. And if it wasn't for his persistence, I'm not so sure that this would have gotten off the ground as quickly as it did. So I want to thank Larry for his persistence and his service. He is the USA Pickleball Association District Manager for the state of New Mexico.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Seems like everybody's been thanked, and so I guess I'm just going to reiterate a little bit more. First of all, I want to just mention that I'm coming from the position of the USA Pickleball Association District Ambassador for the state of New Mexico. And what that basically means is, you see the sign over there, that is the governing body for pickleball throughout the country, and actually throughout the world right now. A lot of different things go on behind the scenes, and I also wanted to let you folks know that I had received emails and congratulatory messages from some of the Pickleball Association, the National Association board members, including the president, and also from other pickleball folks all around the state. As the district ambassador, there's approximately 15 other ambassadors that work with me throughout the state to promote the sport of pickleball. And part of my job is to continue to promote the sport throughout the state. So again, on behalf of the pickleball community, we want to thank not only the city, but Mayor Berry, Barbara Taylor, Director of Parks and Rec, Georgia Armijo Brasher, Director of Senior Affairs, Councilor Dawn Harris, certainly, and your very able and capable Assistant Dawn Marie Emilio. Where is she? Just there she is, okay. She has been outstanding in helping us to get things done and to communicate and coordinate. And also want to thank other city employees who have been helpful in this whole endeavor, including the various directors of the different facilities that have been helpful in this. So thank you very much, and we are really looking forward to the day when we can start to play. Thank you.